This is a team, last year they won only 6 games. They went 2-6 in one-score games. That's a 25% win rate. That was 27th in the NFL in one-score games. They were minus 10 in turnover margin. That was 27th, so terrible. They lost 11 fumbles and finished minus 5 in fumble loss differential, which was 26th. They were 30th in net penalties. They had 111 penalties against themselves. Their opponents only had 79. Also, Ray, their opponents made 94% of their field goals, which was the second highest rate. So you can't really control how well your opponents are kicking field goals against you. And the 49ers opponents made 94% of them this past year. So that was very difficult for the San Francisco 49ers. And as you can look at their schedule on the screen here, last year they played the 5th toughest schedule. Number 32 is the toughest schedule. They played the 5th toughest, ranking at number 28. This upcoming year, they play the number 1 easiest schedule in the NFL. Not only is it the number 1 easiest, it's obviously the biggest shift in ease of schedule from 5th toughest to number 1 easiest. This is a team that revamped their entire coaching staff. Clay Kubiak is taking over as the offensive coordinator. It's the first time Kyle Shanahan's had an offensive coordinator since the 2021 season. You also bring back Robert Saleh, who was with the Jets for a while. I think he helped out with another team last year. I don't know if it was the Vikings or the Bears or somebody, I thought, in the NFC North, Ray. And now he's coming back as the full-time defensive coordinator, which is where he got all of his shine and got all of his fame, was with the San Francisco 49ers, which is what landed him the Jets coaching job. And you look at their schedule right here, and you see that last year this team played the NFC North. This year, they're playing the NFC South. Last year, they played the AFC East. This year, they're playing the AFC South. So the 49ers go from playing the North and the East in the NFC and AFC respectively to both divisions from the South, the NFC South and the AFC South. That's going to be an easier schedule, certainly, than playing the NFC North. It's pretty evident as a result. They also are playing those 2 teams that have the toughest schedule in the NFL, the New York Giants and the Cleveland Browns. What's interesting that we don't know yet is the timing of all of these games, right? When are you playing these teams, some of which might be starting a rookie quarterback like the Tennessee Titans? Might you get the Tennessee Titans very early in the schedule where it's less likely that Cam Ward is going to have a lot of things worked out for him and his feet underneath of him a little bit more, which he might have later on in the season? Can the 49ers luck out and play the Tennessee Titans in the first month of the season? So all of these things, we're not quite sure yet, but this is a team that certainly from a schedule perspective, Ray, has the number 1 easiest draw and the number 1 easiest improvement of any team in the 2025 season.
And you said at the top, your hope is that every team gets the same chance, right? Gets an even playing field. And unfortunately, that can't happen because some teams get to play the NFC South and the AFC South. And so then they're just going to have it. They're just going to have an easier time of it with the 49ers. I came into the offseason thinking that the 49ers were going to be one of my teams, that just classic bounce back team. Obviously not like a groundbreaking piece of analysis, but I thought they were going to be my team. And this is obviously a big thing working in their favor. I think getting, like you said, Robert Saleh back, that's a big thing working in their favor. And they at least attacked their needs early in the draft, with Michael Williams, and then kind of moving through the rest of the draft. I do think, as I read, draft people who I trust, our own Ryan McChrystal, talk about the 49ers draft, is that maybe they don't really like the players they got outside of Michael Williams, or think they might have reached a little bit for them. You go and look at that defense, and you have a lot of concerns about that defense. And so it starts to work against it. And so I become very conflicted with the 49ers. Obviously, we know all of unlucky stuff that happened to them last year. We know all of that. We watched it happen in real time, right? We watched the injuries happen. We watched all of that go down. They also lost a lot of talent this offseason as well. So we'll just have to see where it goes. But ultimately, as I'm thinking about this team and thinking about, am I in on the 49ers this year or not? I do like the Rams. I think the Seahawks can be interesting. We'll see what the Cardinals are. The Cardinals are one of those teams that I just don't know what to do with. So I do think the division is tough. But just looking at this schedule, this gives them such a nice platform to bounce back. And I think probably helps explain why their win total is 10.5. I think part of that is that, teams just trust the 49ers. They trust the infrastructure. They look at what happened last year and see it as a fluke, which I do think in some regards is fair. I do think there are some reasons to be nervous about this team, but then you add in the schedule and you're like, yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense where we are from a public betting perspective with the 49ers right now.